if you're a lady, then you'll want to listen closely to this one, I think, because a rows erupted in one German town after a new car park opened with spaces marked with male and female symbols. Yeah, the spaces for women are wider and well lit. Those for men are close to concrete pillars and can only be reversed into. The mayor said it was a natural decision because the new car park has some difficult spots and they're best left for the men to handle. Needless to say, it sparked a bit of controversy. Well, traditionally it was always argued that men were better at parking, but one man we're going to speak to now reckons that women are. Neil Beeson is a former driving instructor and has done some research on this. Neil, good evening.
Good evening, Simon.
And what have you found?
Well, the studies we did showed that women tend to take more time over parking, but the end result is more accurate.
Okay, so there's a bit of that figures that. There's a bit of macho bullet-a-gate kind of thing when men do it, right?
Oh, for definite, yeah. It's a case of, wherever the car stops, that is good enough for them.
And how many women and men did you test in this?
The study, we didn't test it. We actually looked at CCTV footage, so it was in a totally neutral environment, really, because the people that were parking didn't even know that we were watching.
Right.
Which means that they're not playing up to cameras or anything like that. It was as true to real life as it possibly could get. But the sample we took was 500.
Okay, that's fairly significant.
Yeah.
And so how many manoeuvres then did women take to get in?
On average, they took round about half a dozen or something like that. But it was, like I say, it was more the end result. They weren't happy when they got in. And I suppose it's stereotyping to some degree, but overall, women just tended to, take more time and a little bit more pride in the way they park, sort of thing.
Right, okay. What do you make of this Germany example then? Crazy, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, because there's good and bad in everything. There's good drivers on both sides of the fence, really.
Yeah.
And so, I did read the story, and it's I think he's backtracked a little bit and said it's something to a marketing ploy or something to get people to talk about his town. So,
yeah.
I can see that.
Well, that's worked then, hasn't it? That has worked, it's got to be said.
Absolutely. I mean, the other thing to think about is really, at eDriving Solutions, we've looked into other things, and a lot of the factors are that it depends what people are trying to achieve when they're parking. If they're running late for a train or for a meeting or something like that, they're not going to spend the extra few seconds it takes to get the car square. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's all dependent on what the goal is at that time, sort of thing.
There is something very, very satisfying about swinging it into a tight space, reverse parking it into a tight space first time. That is really satisfying, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Beautiful feeling.
Oh, it is, yeah. It definitely leaves you with a bus, sort of thing. And that was the other thing that came out in the study. As a driving instructor, I've always thought that men would be the more confident at reversing in. But in reality, the number of women reversing in compared to the number of men was a lot higher.
Right.
So it seemed to conflict quite a lot with with our preconceived ideas.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because we need to smash these stereotypes, I think. But the great art of parking is being lost, isn't it, Neil? Because all the modern cars these days have what producer Grace calls the beep beeps.
So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've got all that technology, but you can. I suppose you can say that technology, satellite navigation and driving off the end of a cliff and into fields and things like that. You know what I mean? I think technology's got its place, but it never takes.
No.
It never takes over from human decisions.
That's the great skill, yeah, exactly. Neil, good to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Simon.
Happy parking. See you, mate.
You too, bye-bye.
Neil Beeson, former driving instructor. I've not got a car that has the beep beeps, as Grace calls them, but if it did, I wouldn't use them.